Welcome to the Street Degree Show, brought to you by P.L.U.S.H Lifestyle. Peace, love, and unity stops hate. And with that being said, I'm sitting there right now with my man. Call him, what? Cesar the Pleaser. Yes. I'm sitting there with Cesar the Pleaser. And we're just going to chop it up for a minute, man. We've been waiting on this for a long time, man. We make this happen. And he got a lot of stories to share with y'all, man. And it's very interesting and very enlightening, you know. And that's what the Street Degree Show is all about. Bringing that real to you, that raw, street degree knowledge. And so with that being said, talk to the people, man. Introduce yourself to the people, man.
Well, like my man said, I'm Cesar the Pleaser. And, you know, the story I brought to you guys today is that it starts back when I was an inmate in Nevada, the Department of Prisons.
Wait. You was an inmate in Nevada. And what prison was that again?
Well, I started out in
well, give us a little background, man, before we go into that to the main story that you wanna tell. I mean, share what you want to share with the people, man. Let them know.
My story is that how unjust the system is in Nevada. You know, the stuff that I've been through in my lifetime. You know, a lot of people know me, and a lot of people that was in prison with me that's on the streets now, you know, can relate to the material I'm gonna tell y'all. But we all went through a lot in the penitentiary, you know, from riots to, you know, stabbings and all that, you know. You know, if you ever want to look me up and check me out in the penitentiary, you know, they just call me inmate 41198 in the Nevada Department of Prisons. And you might have to pay about $2 to get my life, you know, to get my everything, get everything that I've been through, but you know, to
legitimize the story, what he's ready to tell you.
Exactly. You know, so you know, all these years and went by, you know, because this happened to me in the '90s, you know, but I started doing time back in the '80s, but I got out and did my era in the '90s, and then, you know, from the '90s, I got out in '96, and it was, you know, I've been free since, but at the same time, you know, the things that I went through is something that you know, the public and the world should know, that the unjustified justice that we have in Nevada when it comes down to us black men. So
you think? So with that being said, do you think Nevada's where would you put Nevada on the scale of being the worst? Or I mean, well, have you been incarcerated in any other state? Or would you say, or is that something you rather say?
I've been arrested. I've been incarcerated as a juvenile in California, and you know, it's nothing like, you know, the stories you hear about California, you know, and it don't got nothing to do with this right here. This is more different because, you know, anything past Las Vegas is, you know, this is the gaming capital of the world, but when you pass Las Vegas, Nevada, and going up north towards Carson City, Reno, you know, Fallon, and Stagecoach, and all that. And then you're dealing with, you know, Ely, Nevada, Winnemucca, P.L.U.S.H. It's a different look, you know, because, you know, when you pass Indian Springs, Nevada, there is no more black police. So you're dealing with people that's from them little towns, and they looking at us like, you know, we foreigners there, you know. And you know, the rules don't apply to us, you know, there, because, you know, the rules is different when it comes to you being a black man in the Nevada Department of Prisons. So, you know, especially back in those days, I wouldn't know what it's like now, because I'm trying to keep my foot from out that front door. So,
They're doing well with that right now.
Yeah, because they love to have a pleaser back in there, you know, it stretched me backwards, man. But now I'm trying to stay out of there because they got their foot on my neck right now as we speak. But you know, that's another story. You know, but as of right now, I'm just basically gonna tell y'all, you know,
we proud of you, brother. We proud of you. You know, you know, You know,
Yeah.
they ain't gonna get you. You know, they trying. They gonna try.
They trying. You know, they
know?
try at least twice a week. You know,
You know?
they try at least twice a week.
They try
man.
at least twice a week.
Yeah, I got a few witnesses too, man. So
at least trying twice a week.
Yeah, man, you know, I hope the judge don't see this, but if you do, you know, it is what it is. Cause, you know,
the truth is what it
is. Yeah, because
right?
you know she against me too, and I ain't got nothing against her at all. But at the same time, you know, she got a job to do, and so do I. So
That's right,
no, so now,
that's right.
I would know. Now back when I was talking about, it started out when I got arrested for buying marijuana from the police, and it was called entrapment law, and you know, possession. Yeah, you know, well they arrested 73 people. Well, they didn't arrest nobody. What they did was give out citations. You know, when they pull you over, you buy the weed from the police, and then you pull up the street and know they come out of nowhere, ambush you, and then they write your ticket, and then you go to court on it. And it started out as everybody had the same charges. So when I went to court, the DA came in and, you know, told the lawyer that everybody's got this deal here, you know. And the deal was, you know, a fine and community service. And, you know, at the time I said, well, you know, why am I paying a fine and doing community service? So when I got to bickering about it, the judge said, well, no deal for him. You know, he wanted to be a smart ass in my courtroom. So, you know, no deal for him. So I didn't get no deal. So, I rolled it out. And then, you know, one day, you know, I got tired of it. And they said, well, only deal they got on the table for you is this 1 to 6. And they're going to drop the entrapment. And you just cop to a possession. Back then, marijuana was not legal in Nevada. So, and they wanted me pretty bad because I used to come in the courtroom and act a fool. And, you know, because I didn't feel like I was invincible at the time. I didn't care. You know, put it like that. You know, I always walked in with a female or something. You know, I got to look cool. So, you know, back in them days. So, and when the judge gave me, you know, my sentence was 1 to 6. When he gave me 4 years out of the 6, my eyes got big. I was like, damn, that's a lot of damn time. So I kind of, you know, acted a little funny in the courtroom. And they ambushed me and taped my mouth up and everything. And you know, kind of embarrassing. But, you know, it was one of them scenes. So now I'm sitting down and I'm doing this 4-year sentence. So they sent me to camp as soon as I, you know, got to prison. So I went up to, Tonopah Camp. And, you know, I started out pretty good, you know, working on fire crews and stuff. And one day I was out. They took me off the fire crew, and I started working in the cemetery, you know. And while we was, you know, breaking the leaves up, you know, taking care of the grave sites, and I stumbled across a gun. And, you know, me being from the streets, you know, I seen how pretty the gun was. I thought, I'm going to sneak this back in. And when I go on visit, I'm going to sneak it out on visit. So what happened was, you know, I was getting visits from a girlfriend, and, you know, she was, you know, bringing, you know, stuff from the streets that I needed. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, she kind of, you know, I was doing pretty good with it until one of my partners had a problem. And I was waiting for the weekend to come so when my girl come, I could slide the gun out and she'll have it for me when I got out. And the incident happened, and I ended up pulling the gun on some inmates. And so that would happen on a Friday, and my visit was on Sunday. So, but the lieutenant wasn't at the camp, so they was dropping them kites in the lieutenant box the whole time. So I just haven't, you know, thank God that my girl did come up, and I slid the gun out, because after Monday, they came, you know, the Doom Squad came, and Highway Patrol, and because, you know, they got it, they got it down as an inmate having a gun in a prison system. So they came in and hit me with the taser.
That must have been tough.
Oh man! So from there I went straight to Ely. And they never found the gun, the maximum security prison. But I didn't go. Nevada, right? I didn't go to the yard at that time. I was just in the hole. So they never found the gun. So they sent me back out to camp. I ended up going to P.L.U.S.H then. And now, you know, I didn't have the good. It wasn't as sweet as it was at Tonopah. So I had to work the crews, fire crews, and I didn't like it, but it was getting half off your sister's sentence, so I just jumped on it, and
That's pretty
I was
hazardous.
I was the
Right?
only black on the crew. It was the rest, it was all white boys,
Right.
Then we had this crew boss named Dangerous Dan, and he claimed he had a metal plate in his head, so but he was the crew boss, so and out of all these people, they got me carrying the chainsaw, and it was kind of hard with the backpack, the chainsaw, and hiking up mountains and stuff. And he led us up this mountain, and I just happened to look back, and the fire was coming our way. And I yell out to him. He go back and said, "Everybody run to the top." So he get on the walkie-talkie, and he telling them the people that we in distress. So I guess when they told us to get to the top of the mountain, they like clear the area out so the helicopter can land and pick us up. So, but now they was all leaving me, so I was felt threatened, so I left the chainsaw and the backpack. I'm gone.
Right.
I beat them all to the top of the mountain.
Right.
So when we got up there, it was so smoky I couldn't see. And he called out my name. He said, "Clear the area out." I'm like, "Man, we'll clear it out for what?" And he said, "Oh, you put us all in jeopardy. You left the chainsaw. You could have gave it to one of us." I said, "I'm gonna give it to one of y'all. And y'all way up ahead of me, man." So he get on the walkie-talkie. I guess the other guys had the P.L.U.S.H and stuff. They cleared the area out good enough for the helicopter to land. And so he said, he picked it, handpicked who he wanted to get on it. You, and we'll be back for the rest of you. So I copped the attitude, and I told him, I accidentally threatened him and told him, if I ain't getting on it, you ain't getting on it. I'll throw your ass off this mountain. So, and so he let me on, and he jumped on. He got on the walkie-talkie. "Yeah, we got a hostile one here. We got one that's violent. So when I got down there, they ambushed me, and they take me back to Ely. So now I'm in Ely. Now this time, the charges were I couldn't believe these charges he would give me. I said, "Damn, I don't think I'm gonna get out of this one."
Right.
So I'm hoping they just send me back to a medium yard.
You felt this all stemmed from from having an incident with on the fire line.
Well, yeah, because I threatened the staff on the fire line, which I did. I denied it, but I did do it though. I'm just keeping it real. But
Right.
and when you got them people in your face, you can't never tell the truth. But when it's all said and done and the smoke cleared, then the truth comes out. Because they got their theory and I got mine. So I basically, I wrote it out. They gave me suspended sentence in the hole, and they left me because at Ely they had a maximum and then they had a medium, and I was on the medium side. It fit my sentence structure because I was only in there for 4 years. On the maximum side, you had to have 50 years or better, but I'm on the minimum side, so they, without them, classifying me and nothing, they just woke me up one morning and told me to head to the kitchen. You got to go to work in the kitchen. So on my way to the kitchen, when I opened the door, there was a guy laying down, stabbed up real bad. So when I opened the door and saw him, I said, "Whoa!" I closed the door and said, "Man, I got something. I left something back in my room." So when I went back to the room, they about maybe 2-3 hours later, they came to my room and was asking me questions about that. And I told them, "Man, I wasn't even in. If you ask the guard, he tell you I never even walked in there." So with that being said, they suspended my sentence. I had suspended. They revoked it, and they gave me a year in the hole. So I'm in the hole. They gave me. I did about 3 months in the hole, and they put me back on probation, and then they told me, "Well, now your points are so high, we can't put you back on the medium side. We'll put you over here on the maximum side." And I said, "Whoa,
With the charges that you had.
Yeah, with possession of marijuana, which
on the maximum side.
Yeah, and like I tell people, ain't nobody in Nevada history had a 4-year sentence on the maximum side in Ely. And back in them days, Ely, right to this day, Ely is not a cakewalk. It's still on lockdown from what we did back in them days, and anybody that know, it's still on lockdown right now as we speak. It ain't never been lifted. And I happen to just be, they put me on, I think I was in 2B. I was in 2B because the hole was in 3. So I was in 2B. And I remember the warden getting on the speakers, speaking about certain inmates that he allowed on the yard if anybody touched him.
Hold that story. Hold that for a minute. We're gonna take a break and get right with you. This is Street Degree Show. All right. Okay, welcome back to the Street Degree Show. We're gonna pick up where Cesar left off at, telling the story of his incarceration in Ely Max. Okay, bro. Go ahead.
All right. Now, so when so basically when I got let out the hole, I was on phase 1 in 2B, and I was in a room with this guy that had 2 10 to life sentences, and he had been down like 6 years, and he was hoping that he can get out in 20 years. So he didn't want no problems. He was one of those dudes that just stayed in the room a lot, he had a little knowledge. Me and him would sit back and talk. But now when the warden came on the intercom, talking about, because a lot of people was getting stabbed and a lot of people was getting hurt, and the warden was one of them crooked wardens, and this guy that was up there, his dad, his rumors that one of the guards told me when I was in the hole that the guard, was getting money from some of these, a lot of inmates up there that's from them little towns, the families got money. And, a lot of people knew each other, the guards knew each other, the inmates from them little towns, they all kind of grew up together. So this guy, was just happened to be, his dad was just happened to have a lot of money. And when the warden mentioned, when he was speaking about don't nobody touch nobody, he was basically speaking on this guy. So when I finally saw him, because I didn't really know who he was talking about, because I just was just, in my own world at that joint. And I see him, he's on the tier in a blue robe, and he's just, back then, we could smoke tobacco in there. So he had a cigar, and he was sitting down. And one day I'm sitting down, and I got up and was walking to the other end of the unit, and he was drawing a picture of a little black girl hanging in a noose. I said, man, what the fuck is this? So when I hollered at one of the brothers, they're like, man, nah, man, that dude do what he do, man. He done got involved with them Aryan War brothers and all that. I'm like, man, so when I found out who he really was, I said, oh, hell no, we can't have him hanging out with us. So he said something to me, and when he did that, the way I see things in prison.
Who said something to you?
The dude said something to me, because I mentioned to him about him drawing that picture, and he kind of riled up at me, like, mind your own business type shit. So I was like, oh, so, from my understanding in prison, when beef is called at any time, the wrong words is beef for me in there, because I feel threatened that, you might get in cahoots with your boys and feel like he had something to say about what I did. So, I went over and grabbed the mop wringer and crowned him over his head.
Oh,
I think I messed him up pretty bad with it. They locked the unit down, and they went door to door trying to figure out what happened.
Did you crack him because you found out who he was and what he did? Basically,
yeah, basically. But for one, the picture was one thing, and then I found out what he was in there for, and I remember his case on TV.
Who was this dude, man?
This guy name was Jeremy Stormeyer.
The guy that killed the little girl at the
killed the black girl.
Casino, right?
Yeah, when I was in the hole, I seen people on death row for just simple stuff that, a little murder and robbery, stuff like that. But, when you got a guy that confessed to how he did it and snapped her neck, made sure she was dead, and, just the whole story of it, and then he had a friend with him, normally, like with my case, I had a friend with me, and we both go down. You know what I'm saying? So,
Right.
we both went down. He got 2 years, I got 4 years. Now this guy here, his partner that got left free, and he tell his story.
He's free to this day, right?
He's free to this day, and the interviews I seen with him, he didn't care. He was like, it's not my business. In fact, I know the whole world saw it because it was a big thing back then. And so I end up. What happened was that the warden they locked the yard down, but the warden was so cold with it that because whatever the white boys felt like they needed more. They wanted a piece of us because we was outnumbered, but we in the battlefield, so it is what it is. So the doors opened up again, and a real major bloodbath went down. My cellie that I had, I was telling y'all about, that didn't want no problems, didn't want to come out the cell. I told him if he didn't come out the cell, because they sent a letter under my door saying, be ready. So be ready means be ready. That's I don't know no other way to put that. I told him, and he's like, well, when you go out, just close the door behind you. So I said, man, these doors don't close, they slide, man. Slide it back. But now when the doors open, I didn't think about sliding no doors back. I'm out, front and center, see what's going on. And it cracked off. And right when I looked back, I seen him run in the room and get him, stabbed him multiple times. To this day, I don't know if that brother made it or not, because after this whole scenario went down, they locked the yard down. They gave me 4 years in the hole. And I said, man, I told him I only got 4 years. I only got a 4-year sentence, and they told me possible charges could be brought up on me from, all the people that, they put a lot of the stabbings on me, but, they put it on everybody had the same charges. All the brothers had the same charges. It was about 9 of us. And we all had 4 years in the hole. Well, some had a little more because, a lot of guys had suspended sentences. I had a suspended sentence too, so I had 6 months, then 2 18-month sentences running bow-legged in the hole. That's basically what I had. And so I was sitting there, I'm waiting out. I forgot when I was even getting out of prison. I forgot how much time I really had been in, because I've been in the hole so long. I did something like 24, 25 months in the hole. Maybe it was 26, because I had a 4-year sentence, and I did 4 years and 1 month on the sentence. No, I did 3 years and 4 months on the sentence. So basically, I did almost all of it. What happened was they were setting people up going to the infirmary, and a lot of brothers were coming back. A lot of brothers getting stabbed. And a lot of people was telling them, if they call you to go to the infirmary, don't go. But it seemed like they made you go, because they was at the door and they were telling me, put your hands behind your back. So they called me one day, and I went. And when I was walking across the yard, because it's controlled movement, ain't nobody supposed to be out doing nothing. I see this guy raking, and I got a guard on one side and a guard on the other, and I'm in shackles and restraints.
Right.
And I'm just trying across the yard. And when we got close to him, I know when he turned around, it was a face that I ain't never seen on this yard, and I done seen every face on the yard, and I never seen this guy before ever in life. And he turned around and he stabbed me, and left the knife in me, and I fell forward and landed on the knife. And when I woke up, I'm leaning over, and I see nothing but guards around me, and I thinking it's about to be the end, because I don't know what's going on. But the knife's still sitting in me, and I'm heading to the hospital, man. And after I got out the hospital and put me back, they put me in the infirmary. I got on the phone and was talking to my dad, and my dad told me to hold on for a second. So I was sitting there holding the phone. The guy was saying something to me, and another guy came out of nowhere and tried to stab me while I'm on the phone, handcuffed to the phone, and I'm already stabbed up, and that's just somehow, some way, I don't know how I got out of there. He stabbed me like right here on the top of my, like right here, and I kind of blocked it. It just got me right here and right here. So but now after that, they put me right back in the hole. So I sat in the hole, and one day they just came by and told me, you got a week, you're down to about a week left. We're gonna send you back to Indian Springs to release you. And I said, what? And so when I got out, I ain't had no papers or nothing, and it's been all these years, that story kind of still, when I looked at seen this guy, because I looked up and seen that this guy was up for parole, and you figure, this, something as serious as this nature,
right?
Because if it was, if it had been a white girl, they'd have gave him the death penalty, So,
right.
But now, it seemed like, the world has, to believe me, the world really has forgotten about this little black girl that then it got killed at the prima donna, and when I seen it that he's going up for parole, he still, if you look at him right now, he looked like a monster,
Right.
He's no different than the DC sniper,
right?
You know what I'm saying?
Right. But he's still alive in the DC snipers.
Yeah, they both still alive.
Right?
The youngsters, but now he did it when he was 16.
Right.
He did it when he was 19.
Right.
So it's a big difference between the age limit.
Right.
This dude was in college. He was going to Berkeley.
Right.
And he just happened to be a rich kid. And if you ever go on the internet and look at the footage, you see how he stalked the little girl and chased and walked
along with his partner.
And his partner watched him do this. Watched him do it.
Playing in the bathroom and all this.
Then afterwards, they go back to Vegas, go to gambling and everything. Then go back to Berkeley, wherever he was at.
Right.
And these guys came out there with their girlfriends and everything. And then he sexually molested her in the bathroom on top of all that.
Yeah.
So, and that's just growing.
How could you not react to something like that? You see this dude in a situation where he's still on a very disrespectful tip, right?
Yeah, and there's no limitation to murder. And I still feel to this day that the friend, he's a co-conspirator to this case. So I believe charges should be brought up on him, even though he might be living a good life right now.
Right. There's no statute of limitations on
no murders, not in Vegas, not in Nevada.
Not in Nevada, right?
No, not one that's a high profile murder, case.
Right.
It wasn't a robbery involved, but it was a sexual assault involved, which makes it more even deadlier. That there was an underage girl, a toddler damn near,
And he speaks on it himself. When you see him in interviews, he speaks on that he was a witness to it.
Right, and the other guy, the one that they convicted, they gave him the deal. If you tell your story, we give you life in prison, and in my eyes, some of that nature don't know. And then
is it a possibility he can get paroled?
Yeah,
it is.
Yeah, it is a possibility because you're dealing with an all-white parole panel, So, like I said, his dad has money, and it ain't hard to influence nobody in this world when it comes down to money,
Can I get you that mop hand over here?
I mean, so don't be surprised if you see him on the streets, because now, OJ got 35 years for just getting his billion back,
Right. Right.
And OJ did every bit of 9 years,
Right.
This
did you tell me that you seen the juice out there?
Oh yeah, I seen the juice up in there, man. I did see the juice up there, man. Juice was doing his thing.
Right.
Juice has special privileges, as you know.
Right.
That's what money do for you. He has special privileges, and he got out, and he right now to this day he got the nurse guards with him. That's OJ. Regardless of what I know he was convicted on stuff he did in the past, but in this day of age, he's still guilty because there was no limitation to that. So there shouldn't be no limitation to this guy. And as we see, he goes up. If I'm correct, it's February. This coming up.
Right.
He goes up for the hearing, and it's a possibility that they might let this man go or dump him for a couple of years, but the next time he will be getting released,
Right. And he'll be around what age right now, would you say?
He was 19.
He was 19. That was
And
what, 2000?
it's 30 years. It's been about 30 years. So yeah, he should be about 50, 51.
Yeah, right,
you know,
right, okay.
but you know, with the pictures we saw, he still looked
We'll
like a
check
young
that
man
out.
because
Right,
prison does preserve you. You know,
Right.
and I'm a living witness to that.
Come on. We're going to take a break right here with that. We're going to get back right to the Street Degree Show. We're going to get back with Cesar, the Pleaser. Welcome back to the Street Degree Show, and we're gonna get back into chopping it up with Cesar the Pleaser over here, you know, and he's telling us about the story, you know, it's kind of his life of some of his time that he served and the time he was incarcerated in the Nevada penal system, you know. So we're gonna get back to asking, we're gonna delve into something like, you know, what. So you out right now, right? You out, you on some paper, right? But you out, and you doing good, man. From everything I've heard, you know, you're doing well for yourself, and you know, you're changing your life around. And what is some of the things you want to accomplish, bro? With your with your life, man. You know, the second time around. However you want to put it.
Right now, you know, I'm living one day at a time, man. You know, I'm living with my big brother. You know, I'm trying to get it together, man. You know, 'cause I really can't see that far into the future, man. I'm trying to, but it's hard, you know. Because you know, my past is always on my back and it hunts me. You know, you know, a lot of people, you know, trying to figure out my status, you know. I'm still that guy, you know.
You still Cesar.
And I'm still Rich Rollins, and I'm still Cesar, man. But I'm just the older guy now, and I'm laid back, you know. You know, I'm trying to, you know, it's hard to teach anybody anything nowadays. Once you know, nowadays these turds, they feel like they're grown, so you can't, you know, once they hit the street life, you know, you can't tell nobody nothing. So I'm just try to play everything by ear and try to stay away from the street life, man. So, you know, my future's in God's hands, man. I'm trying to make it, you know, it is what it is, man. You know, I like to travel, so I'm hoping I can get my mind right and get some things up under my belt and do some traveling and see the rest of this beautiful world that we have. And,
that's right.
You know, so I can't really put my fingers on the future right now, but I hope it's pleasant and peaceful, you know.
That's right.
And I hope you know,
it's
gonna be staying plush, man. You know, you know, my partners, you know, they look up to me, man. So I gotta make sure when they speak to me, I don't tell them what I used to tell them, you know, because everything that came out of my mouth back then was negative. So you know, and you know, if they see me doing different, you know, might switch them over, man. Because you know, I got a lot of friends who look up to me, man. You know, and you know, when they tell me, man, you just like you, how you had it, man. You know, you want to live it like that, but you know, you look at me now and see what I got. You know, so what I had then is what I had then is what I got now. You know, it's just me.
Right.
You know, so I don't have none of the necessities that I had back then. You know. And, I'm just, you know, like I say, that I'm tied up in the court system right now. I'm doing classes. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. You know.
They trying, They trying.
You know, I got
every angle. Huh?
Yeah, you know, and I got a lot of family that don't want to see me fail. So I'm sitting, you know, because you know, for years I've been failing, man. You know, I might feel like I was winning, but I've really been losing. So, you know, and a lot of cats right now, they feel like they winning, but you know, in the end, you know, we'll see how that turns out. So, if you get past what I done and still doing it, then you blessed. But now, you know, the way the system is now and the way they tightening up, you know, it's a matter of time for they crumble in on you. You know, so you know, I got a lot of partners that's in that system right now. I got more than 20 of them that ain't never gonna see the streets again. So. You know, so, you know, and it's just, you know,
it's a day to day, man.
It's day to day, man. You know,
you're looking good, bro.
I'm feeling good.
You're feeling good.
I'm feeling good, man. You know, I mean, I don't see, I don't look back at my past no more, you know, because, you know, my partner in crime, man, he just changed his life, man. So, you know, he was the eyes for me to change mine. So,
Yeah.
Even though a few times I even got him to backslide a little bit, even though I ain't gonna admit to it, but
Right,
you know,
right.
but no, I know I'm the reason that he backslid. You know, so now they know we both doing pretty good now. So we focus on the future, man. You know, see what happens, man. Because
Real time, man.
I think it's gonna be great for me as long as I don't see the inside of that cage again. You know, fall victim of the system. You know, and with that being said,
yeah, I want to thank you, bro. For real, the Street Degree Show, we want to thank you. Plus, Lifestyle, definitely want to thank you, man, because what you represent there, man, yeah, bro, is what we need. What we need. So, we're going to be getting back with Cesar.
the pleaser.
And that's the Third Degree Show.
Thank you for having me on the show.
That's the Street Degree Show.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. That's the Third Degree burn right there. Yeah.